Welcome to X-Files Podcast, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on. I'm Janice Formicella, a breakup coach passionate about supporting others to heal from their breakups, overcome loneliness, love being single, and see the end of a relationship as the beginning of a magical new chapter in life. I am here each week to share with you the tools that I have learned through my own painful breakups, through hitting rock bottom more than once, and through working with people all around the world to heal their broken hearts. If you are looking for hope and strength to move on from your breakup and resources to enjoy your new single life, you are in the right place, and I've got your back. Hello, dear listeners. If you are listening the week that this drops, I would like to wish you all a very happy and very blessed new year. Regardless of when you are listening, I want to remind all of you that whether or not it is the beginning of a new year, that your breakup is an opportunity for a fresh start. I have had the privilege of seeing clients from all around the world use the end of a relationship for just this purpose. So given that we are beginning a new year, I thought it would be a great time to introduce one of those remarkable people to you and also introduce the My Breakup Story series. At least once a month, I will now be featuring a conversation with someone who has an inspiring tale to tell about overcoming a broken heart and beating their breakup. After this intro episode, I will be dropping them as bonus content along with my regularly scheduled programming. My intention with these conversations is to help those who push play on X-Files to know that they aren't alone and that there's nothing to be ashamed of if they are struggling to put a breakup behind them. I also want to provide inspiration and motivation by hearing someone who is not a podcaster and not a breakup coach talk about what they did to heal and how great they are doing now. If you would like to come on X-Files and share your story with my audience, please message me on Instagram or at xfilespodcast@gmail.com. Today, I am sharing the story of a powerhouse of a human being, my client and X-Files supporter, Vivian. I hope that you will enjoy our chat and that you will take to heart some of the things that she did to turn her life around after one of her breakups. If you would like the one-on-one support that I provided to her, please find me on Instagram to schedule a chat. I would absolutely love to work with you to heal your heart. And with that, let's welcome Vivian to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very, very special episode of X-Files. This might actually be the most important episode I've ever done. And that is because I have a client with me. Hello, my dear. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Janice. It's nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
It is amazing that you are here. So when I first started X-Files almost 2 years ago, if you can believe it or not, one of the things I thought would be really cool is if we did these extra episodes where people would come on and talk about their breakup story. It was one of my top objectives, but things just took off really quickly with the podcast. And especially with having a co-host, it was just too much and I didn't get it off the ground. So then once I became a solo podcaster, I kind of revisited it. And I think one of the things I asked in the episode I did where I announced that Claire was leaving the show is, would people want this? And I got so many DMs. Everybody wants to hear about other people's breakup stories. And you were one of the first people who came to mind to ask. And that's because I've actually known you for about 2 years now, right? Or a year and a half?
Actually,
maybe?
it's 1.5.
Yeah. And
but I feel really honored to be here. So it's an honor to be the first guest here. It's cool.
I've been so amazed by your dedication to personal development and growth. And you're so committed to overcoming every challenge that life throws at you or love throws at you. So I think you're a wonderful person to have on. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I'm a bit obsessed with personal development stuff. So
I can tell. And that's definitely, I think maybe that's why we kind of stayed orbiting around each other, is because I think people like us want to be around each other. So it's an honor. You're an amazing person. So first of all, I think it's kind of cool. Also, we have a very international audience. Where are you joining us from? Can you let everyone know?
So I'm situated in Vienna, in Austria.
Mm-hmm.
But I was originally born in Brazil, and my mom's German. My grandfather is from Denmark.
Wow.
And I grew up here in Vienna, basically. So
that's awesome. I might actually go to Austria next year. I forgot to tell you that. So we'll have to, maybe we'll meet up in person. How cool would that be?
Yeah, you definitely have to let me know.
Oh, 1,000%. So let's get into it. How long have you been listening to X-Files? We won't focus too much on that, but I would, love to know, and would love for the audience to hear how you found me.
I started listening 1.5 years ago. It was shortly after my breakup, and I was just super devastated and really desperate, and I was just Googling and just in Spotify typing breakup, whatever, and that was the first thing that came out. And I've actually listened, I think, to almost all episodes, even when I was past my breakup and actually dating someone new and in a new relationship. In the meantime, I continuing to listen to it. So
thank you. That's one cool thing about podcasting is I think that you kind of develop, kind of a friendship with the host. It's a very personal platform or a very personal medium. And I have heard from other people that they keep listening, just because they're, curious about what I'm up to.
You get attached.
Yeah, exactly.
To your voice.
And you know what? I'm so glad to hear that from people. And I'm so glad that it helps. So let's actually, I guess, circle back to what you just said. Can you tell us about the end of the relationship that you were in when you started listening to the podcast? What led up to you going on and doing the Google search?
Yeah, sure. Well, it was very bad. So I'm 32 years old now, but last year was the first time someone ever broke up with me. Mm-hmm. I was in that relationship for 4 months, and I was a bit surprised by the breakup. When I look at it, from now, then of course can see things in a different light, and you can see where it was already showing that it was going to end. And yeah, then I just checked the X-Files podcast, and I was so desperate. I was so lonely, even in the first days after the breakup, because my best friends, they lived in Spain at the time, and they were super supportive. But I didn't have a support network here in Vienna, because prior to that, I had some mental health struggles going on, and I did those inventories. So I actually dumped a few people out of my life in that time.
Okay, a bit of a detox. Was this during the relationship or after?
That was before. So
okay.
I guess that also was an issue. That wasn't really the best thing to get into a relationship if you don't have this social net, and you're kind of a bit dependent on this one person. Mm-hmm. So
that is such an amazing insight. And I think that you've built now a network where you live, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this was one thing after the breakup. A friend of mine, she's a coach, so I'm a bit lucky. Aww. And she said, Vivian, this wasn't your decision, but you can make it a good decision.
Yes.
You can make this a good decision. If you look back, it's going to be a good decision because of the actions you took. And I was okay, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make new friends. I'm just going to be myself. So I just, I got Bumble. I didn't know that before. but there's this Bumble Friends, right? So you can meet people, and I joined like a basketball team, and yeah, now I'm actually really, really happy with the circle of people I have around me.
Yeah, I think one reason also that where you stayed around each other is we're both like crazy extroverts. So yeah. I really applaud you for taking it upon yourself to go out there and build the community that you have for yourself. And actually, can you say just a little bit more about Bumble Friends? Because I know that a lot of people out there struggle with loneliness after a breakup and might not be aware of this. So can you just kind of let us know how it works and how it worked for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, so I thought it was super cool. Like, I mean, I put myself out there. Like I guess my profile was kind of bold, but that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted to attract people who want like me for me, because like,
tell us more.
Yeah, you have like hundreds of people that tell you know, I'm into Harry Potter and I like to drink coffee or whatever. And it's like so generic and so default.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
what did you say?
I put so much text. Like I put a whole description, like that I'm sensitive. I don't know, I'm a bit of a nudist sometimes.
Oh my, so. I love that. That's fantastic.
I don't know. I made like some quite silly jokes, and maybe that might offend people. I don't know.
Okay.
But I thought, you know, if you, that's my humor. You know, if you're not into it, then like we're not going to match that much.
Yeah, I always say something about like cocktails whenever I'm on a dating profile, because I'm like, I just want people to know like this is something I enjoy doing on the weekend, and you know, like if you're going to be with me, it's, you know, going to be that type of time. So people, you swipe on Bumble Friends, right? Like how do you actually get connected? And then do you just like get together and like how does it actually work?
Yeah, it's like a swiping app, but okay. I prefer it to Tinder because you have like a bit more pictures and you're actually
so I have been on Bumble before, but not Bumble Friends.
Okay, well, it just looks the same. You actually have an own profile. Like you can make an own friend profile and an own dating profile, and they're like really split. So if you're in the friend mode, you really see other people who really are looking for friends. While on OkCupid, where you would check like, yeah, I'm open for meeting friends, I'm open for dating. Like you have people that check everything, and it's like all mixed up. And then you have like, I don't know.
Like a little awkward, probably, if you're starting to talk to someone and one of you maybe is looking to date and one of you is looking just for friends, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, yeah, and then you just swipe and you can just like chat with people. And I went for drinks with someone, and actually, I mean, somehow I was just talking about my breakup, and somehow those sob stories apparently were super attractive to people. I don't know, like I was making jokes about
we can
it.
all relate.
Mess, but
that's why I want to do this series, because we can all relate. Well, thank you. Let's circle back to the breakup a year and a half ago. So besides the loneliness, was there something else like right after that you found particularly difficult?
I was like super in love with her, and she was not reciprocating those feelings. But like the breakup itself, I thought it was super, apart from the fact that it was quite sudden, but the conversation we had, I thought it was so respectful.
Okay.
And like the way we communicated, and I hadn't known that from my past relationships. So like, I felt like that the quality of that relationship, also if there was like this imbalance that I was more into her than she was into me, but the way we communicated, I thought it was like of a higher quality in the way than my relationships before that. And I guess that's also because she had like a lot of intellect, and we had this crazy chemistry going on, and it was just so much connection that I didn't experience in relationships before, I guess. I somehow, like I told you, I was dealing with mental health problems, so I was doing therapy, and I think I found my true self in this. So I became more open, I became more vulnerable. So like there were other connections possible that weren't possible before that. And I guess I don't know, the only thing my ex and I before that had in common was like road cycling. So it was like quite superficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like it was really transformative for you. And then to have it end, I mean, what do you think was the hardest part about it, that you actually turned to podcast and then breakup coaching?
It felt like so painful. And as I said, we had this great chemistry and we really had this awesome sex. It was like we were both like, this is the best sex we ever had. And so I felt quite deeply. So, it's like this physical pain of having this connection like torn away from you. It was the first breakup I had to deal with. Like the first time someone broke up with me. I guess that was really difficult.
Yeah, that does suck. And it does sound painful. So from what I remember, so did you end up like doing a no contact thing?
I tried.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think that's maybe when we first spoke, is when you were kind of trying to make that stick, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like I reached out to you and we had the fireworks coaching session. And I thought it was quite cool because we said like, okay, let's make specific goals. And like, so I had like this incentive, to go like on Bumble and really commit to this. Like I'll meet someone new. I'm going to join the basketball team, etc.
That's so cool.
And we did keep no contact because like she was having a clear boundary there, which thinking about it now, I think that was something, cool of her to do, Mm-hmm. And I guess what I thought was hard was getting closure, because I was so surprised by this breakup. And we just met like at the railway station, and I don't know, it was raining.
Wow. Oh,
and we were like standing there.
And it feels like it's meant to be. And it sounds like it was in many ways, because it led to such transformation for you. But given that it was such a lovely story and the sex and the chemistry, what did closure look like for you?
Because I thought, okay, I didn't get really to tell my part of the story. It was just like, you're confronted with this, so it
gotcha.
was like a quite short interaction at the railway station, and it was raining, and she's like, yeah, and I have to leave now because I have, she was super hot. She was a pole dancer and giving pole dance instructions, and she was smart. Like she had a degree in physics, and, like this dream woman,
Yeah. And you're a scientist too. So that
I'm a scientist too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
I'm an engineer, and I'm also into dancing. So yeah. And then, I got home and I was just like realizing this slowly. And it's like, oh my God, what happened here? Like my world fell apart. I think this is like a mistake I did, that I gave this relationship and I gave her such a huge role in my life. Like this was giving me so much purpose. And I think I was like missing purpose in the rest of my life. Like it didn't have like a job that was really fulfilling or was super fun. I was like at the end of finishing my studies, so it's like a transition phase. And what I did actually, she refused to meet again, to have like another conversation. And yeah, so like 5 weeks later, I just wrote her a letter. I wrote her an email, and that did give me closure. I know like you recommend not to no contact and don't send those letters and keep them for myself. And I think now I wouldn't do it again. Like I wouldn't do it again to send a letter like that, because I think it's not necessary, like you move on, you go on with your own path and you just leave it behind you. And I think like, use your journal as much as you want, like write 100
You're so
pages.
good at that. I do recommend to, like you said, move on and leave the past in the past, but it's different for everyone. And like, I try to let everyone know on X-Files, I talk about the rules, not the exceptions to the rules. And if that worked for you, then that's great. But I love that you're saying that you would probably do it differently.
Yeah. I did. I was going through those stages, and like I put her on this pedestal. So like, I was magnifying her and minimizing myself. And over time this changed. And then I got into this anger phase,
I hear you.
And I was like, this is not fair. And like, you weren't honest with me, because a few days before she broke up with me, she was like, yeah, let's go on holidays next week, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely not fair. And that's another thing I want my listeners to know. A lot of these things are shit. And that's not fair at all for someone to say that one day and then the next day be like, oh, psych, never mind. So I just want to know, like, it does sound like it was a great connection and you had so much in common. Are you able now to look back and think, and if I'm wrong, tell me, are you able though to look back and think like it was good for the moment or like it served a purpose? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, those like we had, I mean, I don't think about it anymore, but like when I look back at it, I think there were nice memories there, and I was vulnerable in a way I wasn't before. You know, I was also like parts of me were also accepted in ways that weren't before. Like what I really liked about her, like she had this enlightened view on mental health, and I hadn't experienced that before, you know, so she was so supportive about it. And she was like, wow, this is so admirable that you went to therapy. And I've like, you know, hearing that for the first time when other people might think, you know, you're this patient or there's so much stigma around it. Yeah. So it's like really nice. And I also like found out for myself after that I really want an intellectual connection.
I love that.
When I date. Yeah. So, and I found that afterwards, definitely.
I can tell for sure, like you really like fine tuned what it was that you were looking for. And I've seen that from you since. So it was really painful at first. You went through the anger phase. We talked, you listened to X-Files. When did you feel like you were turning a corner with things and things were getting easier?
I must say it really happened in phases. Like, I did say like afterwards, okay, wow, this experience was such a shit show. I do not want it to happen again. Like, this is not going to happen again. And awesome. Like, I made this list, like, I want to be in a good place. You know, what do I want for myself? I want more stability in my life. I want the friends, you know, the social circle. You know, I want to be in a more confident place, you know, in a more stable place and in a good place before I meet someone else. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to date anyone. I mean, to be honest, I was also terrified of sleeping with someone or like getting close to someone or getting intimate with someone again. Okay. So
because you didn't want to go through it again? Like what was so scary to you? Okay.
I felt so vulnerable in a way, I guess. I mean, the sex with her was special, I guess, because I was so open and it was so, we had this real connection, you know. I like to think of it like before, maybe sex was maybe like, you play tennis or it was like a sport or whatever, you know, it's like, or I'm hungry, let's go to McDonald's and eat something or something like that. And I think, I don't know. It's
I mean, McDonald's can be very satisfying.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess it's not, I'm a vegetarian, but, so I guess like sushi on the other hand is like, damn, but also like there's different levels of sushi. You can go to a sushi place and it's just like, oh, that's good sushi. And you can go to a fancy sushi place and it's blowing your mind.
I guess like my communication and like my physical expression were more in sync. Sexuality was a way more to connect with someone and so I was so much more present and I was so much more there with all of me. And
when you say that you were terrified of having sex with someone, was it because you didn't think you would have the same connection with someone, or were you scared that you were going to like get attached?
I was scared that I was going to get attached.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was scared that I would, just take things too fast. And like, I think I had this learning about myself that I do make myself vulnerable when I sleep with someone now. Like, I think, I mean, I was a DJ years ago, and I think 10 years ago, like I went on a one night stand and it didn't mean anything, you know, like, and, but that's like did change for me. Yeah. So I actually decided I'm not going to date anyone. And I had this, when you're ready for dating again checklist. And one thing was like, you're not talking about your ex, you're not thinking about your ex. And that actually did take quite a while. Like it took, I guess it took half a year.
I mean, I don't think that that's that long, to be honest. From my perspective as a breakup coach, I think that seems pretty standard, especially considering the significance of the relationship.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It was like significant. It only lasted for 4 months, but there were some very intimate. There was a lot of intimacy there, like in the connection. There was passion,
I'm so glad that you're saying that, because so many people come to me and are feeling so self-conscious about either the fact that the relationship wasn't that long or that they are still struggling with it, a few months later. So you're saying the relationship was actually relatively short and you were still struggling with it a few months later. And I want everyone to know, I mean, that's just how it goes when you give your heart to someone.
Definitely. And you definitely have those phases, because I think I was feeling a lot better 1 or 2 months after the breakup. So like I had this habit that when I feel really shitty or I feel like I'm in a life crisis, or I start smoking again, and I have those phases, and I actually quit a few weeks after that. And that was also when I met new friends, and that was really exciting. And I joined this basketball team and all this fun stuff. And I don't know. And then I remember suddenly it was already November, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm over her, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then you do it and you go on this Instagram, and then you check her Instagram. And then she was saying she's planning to leave the country and move away. And I was like, whoa. And then that really got me back. Like for a week I was wallowing, so much. And
yeah.
It just does take time. And sometimes months later you have a realization, or even now this year, like a year after our breakup, maybe, because I had another relationship and another breakup in the meantime. But I did have some realization and some memories. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she felt this way. I can understand her better now, after I broke up with my last partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about checking their ex's social media?
Don't. It's like this person, in your life, in your orbit, in your universe, this person, think of this person as not existent anymore there, Yeah. You don't need to give them a place in your life. Fill your life with other things, and they're people who are more deserving of having any spot in your life, and may it even be, the 5 minutes attention you give on social media. And I really pulled that through this last relationship of mine. And I was actually super surprised of how fast relatively I got over this breakup.
Yeah, I've done the same. Now that I know how to do it, I have found that once I accept that I'm going to break up with someone, or I suppose they're going to break up with me, I do find that I bounce back a lot easier. And along those lines, what was the most helpful thing that you did to get over it and then to stay getting over it? Because, I mean, you had a rough 6 months, but then you took off like nobody's business. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
No, really. I mean, I have a new job now. I graduated.
You had a party and you sent me the invite. Like, you were seriously rocking at life so much.
Yeah, I guess I was really committed to myself.
Yeah.
I was so committed to myself. I said, this is not going to happen again. And I am not accepting this, and I want to move to a better place. So it was like giving myself this attention and putting this effort into my life. How do I want my dream life to be? Whatever it is, it's all possible, I mean, it's hard. And it's not like I did this all on my own. I had help, I did coaching with you. I was seeing my therapist, who's amazing. She was a big support. So that was one thing. So I guess being more self-reliant. Yeah. This was a big part of it. So, and then I became more confident. I felt more fulfilled over time. And then I mean, I really had her on such a pedestal, and I was like, I mean, she was a goddess to me in a way, you know, but that says it, you know, if the other person's a god, what are you, you know, like a tiny human.
Wow, this is amazing. I feel like emotional. I mean, your insight and your commitment to yourself is beautiful.
Yeah. So that, and actually I did take it with humor a lot. Like I was suffering, but I did take it a lot with humor as well. And I wrote some like short stories. Yeah. And
if you don't mind me interrupting, so you've said a couple times that you put her up on a pedestal, and I get that when you're in a relationship that you're so stoked about. How did you take her off that pedestal, and like what did that mean for you?
Well,
and
I
did
guess
you at all? I don't know if that rings true to you. Okay.
I did. I think I have a realistic perspective of that version of her I got to know at the time. But I myself became more confident, and not through telling myself, you know, or through affirmations like you're great or you're awesome or whatever. I mean, that I did sometimes. But just like being the person I want to be. I mean, I'm this huge fan of Manson, like this author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and it's a lot about finding your own values, you know, and creating your life around things and values you can actually control.
Can you say the name of the book again for everyone?
So it's a bestseller. Mark Manson is the author, and it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And so like an example would be if your value is to be cool and be super popular and have like high status and cool cars, and you want other people to think like, wow, this person is so rich. Like you're building your life upon values of what you think that other people think of you. And that's something like you can't control. So why don't you build your life on values that you can't control, like being an honest person, living honestly, and like those things. And if you do this for a while, you actually do become more confident of who you are, and you become like such a proud person, and you actually attract people like that way too, because like if you're such a superficial person, then chances are high like your friends are superficial too, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever. So yeah, and he actually like years before published another book that did not have such a high media attention, but it's called Models, Attract Women Through Honesty.
Oh my God, I never connected the dots. I know exactly what book you're talking about. I didn't realize that was the same author. How interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. That book is considered to be good for people who are dating again.
Yeah.
Or like looking to up their game. Huh.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And it's like directed to male heterosexual readers. But what I really liked, like he made a pre-word, like a note to LGBT and female readers, because someone asked him like, hey, is this book like just for dudes? And he's like, you know, to be honest, when I think about it, no, because all this advice in here, you know, it covers so many things like vulnerability. Like actually, I really like the chapter. It was like power through vulnerability, you know, like showing yourself and being bold and just accepting that many people will reject you. But like one rejection just takes you one step closer to the person you're supposed to be with, you know, who wants you for you. So it's like about, creating a life you're happy with, because if you're like happy, you know, you're going to be more radiant, you're going to be more attractive to people.
And you found this when you started dating again, once you had kind of gotten over it. Yeah. That's amazing.
I read it like 3 times.
All right, everyone. So you read Models 3 times, or The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck 3 times?
No, Models.
That's awesome.
Women through honesty.
Cool. Okay. I'm putting it on my list. I'm making a note to myself. I actually have had it on my reading list for over a year and never bought it. So cool. All right. Awesome.
And it really helps you, like when you think about these things, become more confident. And it's about like accepting yourself and showing your true self, you know, to attract the people who will want you for you, and not putting up like a facade. Or he also criticizes like pickup artists, you know, he said they might get have sex, but actually the person having sex with you is not having sex because of like who you are, but just because of some charades you did, you know, like that can't be fulfilling. So yeah, that was a really cool book.
Thank you so much. So everyone go to the show notes. I am going to put both of these in there. So I know that you have enjoyed being single in a new way, maybe this past year or so. And I'm always trying to convince my listeners that you can actually have a lot of fun being single and that it serves a very important purpose in your life journey, including an important purpose for your future partnerships. So what would you say is your favorite part of going solo or being single?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really happy that I took this break of dating for, I think half a year or 3/4 of a year. And like, if you're happy with yourself and if you have this self-reliancy, you become so attractive to people. Like it's insane.
It's so true, everyone. I'm always saying this, and I have someone else backing me up here.
Yeah. And it does take a while. Like also, of course, like you feel shit after a breakup, and like maybe you want to put a Band-Aid on it or all of these things. But I mean, what I was thinking, you know, I could go from one relationship to the next. And then at some point I thought, no, I don't want this drama. I don't want this stress, you know.
I can relate to that so much. I was like, you're shit at this. Stop. Figure things out.
Exactly. And I thought, you know, like if I'm for the next 5 years, I was always having this number in my mind, 35 years old or whatever. Now the next 5 years, it's 37. If I'm single for the next 5 years, or the next 4.5, and then I meet like my future wife and we're together for 30 years, it's so going to pay off. Then, me, you know, for the next 20 years or 15 years being in random relationships, you know, that don't work out and are just like a stress. And yeah, where you just go through those patterns and cycles again and again. But yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I think through COVID and the whole lockdown thing, that was actually the time where I started, you know, to get to know myself better, when I was spending more time with myself. And in the beginning, it does feel like awkward, you know, a bit weird, it feels a bit forced maybe when you're like, oh, I'm going to put on a candle for myself and I'm going to put on music or those things. Like in the beginning might feel a bit forced. But over time, like if you practice kindness toward yourself, you start liking yourself more because like, hey, you're being nice. This person, I like that person. That person is being nice to me.
Yeah, I completely relate. And then actually getting into a relationship and welcoming someone in can actually be quite an adjustment because you're so used to showing up for yourself in, you know, like every single moment. And it can actually be, you know, you get more selective, I feel, when you live this way.
Definitely, because you're not so desperate. You don't need to meet someone now. You don't need to meet someone tomorrow. It's like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And that makes you so non-needy, and that makes you so much more attractive even.
Yes. Oh, how cool. So I am wondering if you wouldn't mind telling people about your recent breakup brunch. I loved this idea of yours. You told me you went through a second breakup since I've met you, and you did really well. I was really impressed with the decision making that went into it, but also at the end, when you had made the final decision, you planned a breakup brunch, which I loved hearing about. Can you tell my listeners everything about it?
Yeah, sure. So I think 3 or 2 weeks after the breakup, I invited my friends to this breakup brunch. And this is like me taking it with the humorous side again. So I actually made like handwritten letters, and I made like a big heart that was like broken and wrote breakup brunch in there. And I was like,
and did you send these in the mail?
I sent them in the mail.
Oh, that's so cool. Can you imagine getting that? Oh, that's so lovely. And also, who did you invite?
Like my closest friends, about like 5 people or so, or 6 people.
That's very
And
cool.
I mean, I'm a bit of a party planning fan, and it's so nice because like you have something to think about and you have something to look forward to. And like, I like decorating the table. I like cooking. And what I actually did, like I asked my friends to bring like a letter to one of their exes, like whoever they wanted. It can be like fun, it can be fun, you know, it can be sarcastic, it can be super serious. And I said, like, we won't judge anyone. Like, we will judge your ex maybe, but not you.
That's great.
And so we read those, and then we burned them on my balcony. And yeah, it was nice.
That's great. So, I mean, what was it that made you want to do this in the first place?
Yeah, I think I wanted to get to that because I was like myself a bit surprised of how well I did this last breakup. Like it took me, I guess, like a month to feel like really good about myself again and really energized. And I guess I learned so much from the last year's breakup and everything I learned through the podcast and our coaching and these things. And I think like I had this realization quite fast that this person was really not doing any good in my life. That this relationship was really not healthy for me. And that it's not meant to be, that I wasn't happy. And when I really realized that, it was quite soothing and it was easy for me to move on. And what helped me realize this, because like after I broke up, I mean, that weekend I was like, oh, was it the right decision? And I want her back. And now suddenly I know everything I did wrong. And you have all those feelings coming up. And this friend of mine who's a coach, she said, you know, Vivian, like you're feeling those stuff now, like this whole empathy you're feeling for your partner. This means something that you're feeling it now, that you're not in a relationship anymore. You know, it means that now when you're far away from this person, you feel comfortable again. And before, like there was a reason why you weren't feeling those things. You had to protect yourself, you know.
It did seem like the emotions were really close to the surface when you were in your last relationship.
Yeah.
Like almost like survival mode. Does that ring true to you at all?
Well, I was definitely shutting down, kind of like I was becoming more distant. And, you know, I was like, I'm a quite bubbly, energetic person, and I love to laugh and I love to make jokes. And I was becoming like more serious and more like, I don't know, it felt like it was so heavy. There was so much heaviness then. And I was actually journaling throughout the relationship. And what I did like a few days after my breakup, I was like, okay, I'm just going to take my journal and like read through this. I was like, oh my God, Vivian, you were not happy. Like you had so many fights. And then I remembered how I actually felt during those fights, and reading it like months later, you do have another perspective on it. And I was like, oh my God, this was like so wrong. You know, I took so much responsibility in those fights. Like I felt so guilty, you know, like for no reason. And, you know, that was for me the proof, you know, that it was not a good situation. And then suddenly I had closure after reading that. Like,
what would you say to someone who is maybe struggling with whether or not to end a relationship right now? Like, do you think is like the determining factor, or what can you ask yourself? Like, how can you really make the decision?
I mean, I can tell you how I did it. So I identified what I wasn't happy with in the relationship and what I will not accept anymore. For example, having discussions about relatively small things, like in the middle of the night before like a working day on the phone and repeating arguments. I said, no, that's no quality of life. These things. And then I asked myself, all right, like, what am I doing actually to contribute to those situations? Because I always have power, you know, in my actions and what I'm doing. And I said, oh, you know what, I choose not to participate in this anymore. And I told this to my partner, and I told that to my ex, and like, I mean, we both agreed that it's not a great situation having those fights. And I said, you know, I will not, you know, participate anymore in this. And then I thought, okay, either she will adjust to this and she will react to this like in a positive way, or not, and
yeah, like, I can relate so much.
Then I have those, this is like me being very practical and being like solution oriented and like, oh, okay, analytical, let's try this and that. But I guess like generally, like, if you like close your eyes and think, okay, this situation, is it giving me more energy or is it taking more energy from me?
Yeah.
And that's like often a question easy to answer.
Yep. I hope everybody heard that. And like I said, I can relate. In fact, one of the things that's now on my must-have list is I want to be with someone who like supports me in getting a good night's rest. And I said that to the person I'm dating recently, and he was like, oh yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? And I was like, you actually be surprised. A lot of people don't, for various reasons. So thank you so much for all of this. This has been one of my favorite conversations that I think I've ever had on X-Files. Oh, wow. I'm not joking. I'm sitting here just like bursting with a lot of pride, and I'm just so impressed with you. Yeah, really glad that I know you, and I'm really glad that you found the podcast, and I'm really glad that you are doing so well. Before we end, one thing that I want to ask every single person that comes on to tell their breakup story is, what is something you would say to someone who is struggling with a breakup right now?
That it takes time, not to be too hard on yourself. Like, this is not a time to have like high expectations, and try to find acceptance. Like, try to accept that you're not doing well right now. Yeah, it gets better, and it pays off to take time to heal and just be nice to yourself.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see what happens for you in 2023. Thank you for being my first guest to come on and tell their breakup story. And I appreciate you so much, Vivian.
Thanks, Janice. And thanks for the episodes. They really, really helped a lot.
I'm so glad. That is probably the biggest compliment that someone could give me. So I appreciate you being a listener, a client, and a wonderful human being. And I appreciate everyone who listened. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to X-Files podcast. I sincerely hope that you found today's episode inspirational or useful. I would love to support you on your healing journey. All you have to do is send me a message through the X-Files Instagram account, and I will personally be in touch to get you started. Remember, if you are struggling with a broken heart, your feelings are temporary. I am sending you so much love and luck for the week ahead. You've got this.